You've heard us talk about them. They're in, and they're on the website.
Absolutely. Our brand new America's Diesel podcast, branded bills, badass, flex fit, performance material, sweat stain resistant. It literally feels like it cools your head.
I don't know how that's
amazing.
possible, but somehow it is. Yeah, you can rock it. You know, I'm more of a flat bill kind of guy. You can do that. You can curve it. For all you taco holder guys, you can even throw that in there.
Yeah.
And then snap back with a little bit of the flex fit.
Yeah.
Big head approved, small head approved.
And it's extremely comfortable. I almost guarantee, I say almost guarantee. No, I guarantee this is the most comfortable hat you will ever wear. And the logo, rubber. Awesome.
Yeah.
Came out great.
Super detailed rubber on there, so it's never going to fade on you. If you want to get one of these in your hands, they are $50, shipped to the lower 48, plus tax, if applicable in your state. Just go on the dieselpodproducts.com, search hat, look for the fantastic Jam and Eagle logo, and pick yourself up some before they're out of stock.
Yeah.
You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast.
All right, Ben. I have a request to get a blind reaction from. They said
I
this,
love it.
This mug suits you probably better than any mug you'll ever own.
Freaking the sheets. The worst part is if I use that around my wife, she'd be like, hey, that's a dumb mug, and no, you're not that good at Excel. Come on, babe.
I still look at that mug and I'm already confused. Still don't get it.
Like it's asking me to fix a function before I take a sip.
Yeah, I don't get it.
What do you mean? What kind of numbers do I want to put on here? I just want the numbers. We mean what type of numbers?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I'm really good at coloring the cells a different color. I can do that.
You got VLOOKUP down pretty good, didn't you?
After like 30 YouTube videos.
Well, that's all of us are the same way.
No, not all of us are the same.
I can almost see Tyler in there just making pixel art out of the cells in Excel with different paint colors.
If I zoom way out.
Not red is no good. Green is good and done. Yellow is pending. And that's pretty much what I do.
Let it be known, folks, if you do not use Excel to help track things and stuff like that, you should probably do that. Knowing how to use Excel is basically, in this day and age, knowing how to write a 5-paragraph essay. Because you should know how to write well, obviously, but pretty much anywhere you work, you can find a way to do your job better using Excel. I seriously mean that. 100%.
Did you just call me a retard?
No.
That's what it sounded like.
Useless person.
You now do your job much better than you did before now that you know how to use Excel.
I know, but I'm not making sheets. I just look at them.
That's fine. You know how to use it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to use it fairly well, but there are definitely people out there that are freaking wizards about this.
It's definitely one thing I wish I paid more attention to. And even in high school, we didn't really use Excel. Like, they didn't really teach you.
No, they didn't. Not even me. Like, I remember actually, even by the time I was going to San Jose State, there was a guy that was in my class that was using Excel, and I called him. I was like, what are you using Excel for, you fucking retard? Why don't you get a piece of paper out? Why don't you use some graph paper and a pencil? Why are you trying to write equations in there? And he's looking at me, I'm looking at him like, what do you mean?
That's why they make sticky notes?
It's kind of weird. Like, when you start getting into school like that, there's basically two types of people. They're like, there's me. Like, I would have notepads full of stuff that I've written out. Yeah. Equations, all this, like, work it out by hand. That's fine. And then you have those other guys that are like trying to do these equations but on a laptop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can't draw that symbol in Excel, dickhead. Like, oh no, I'll just make an equation for the symbol. I'm like, what the fuck you do that for?
Yeah.
I can just write it. Look, I wrote it with my hand. There it is. I'm done. I wrote it. But what if your math's wrong? Well, there's the thing. My math's not wrong.
Yeah.
Asshat.
Well,
I got a calculator.
if I would have just known how to use like a calculator, like be proficient with a calculator and a computer, like I could have been probably an engineer. Like, who knows? Like, I wouldn't have gone to a diesel school, that's for sure.
Well, we weren't allowed to use calculators because we weren't going to have calculators everywhere we went.
Yeah, what do you think? You're going to carry a calculator around with you all the time?
Dude,
Miss Smith, gotcha.
Dude, I accidentally flipped my phone over to the side when using calculator once,
badass,
and it blew
huh?
my freaking mind, and I had no idea what to do. The amount of buttons that are on there,
Like, what
It's
the hell's a
just-
log 10?
What the?
Ah!
Yeah. Anyways.
Lagio?
Yeah.
Lagio? It's so good.
Have you ever accidentally like hit something on a calculator and then like try to clear it and it wouldn't clear, and then like every time you use it you're just like, what is going on? And, like you have to completely clear the entire app.
Like somehow
because I had some like
Yes.
I was like stuck in an equation and like not finishing the equation. It wouldn't let me like clear it. God, it was so frustrating. I was like, I just wanted to just minus these two numbers, and now it's like doing this weird thing.
I don't know. I always just flipped them upside down and spelled boobies.
Yeah. Dude, check it out. I wrote hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is probably not very PC, but we used to, when I lived in the Bay Area, we all had TI-83s, and we would you could program games into them. You had to like literally program the games, and then once someone programs them, you can share them between each other. You have to download them onto the calculator itself.
Yeah.
And there was one called Go Pedro Go. And it was this little gun in Pedro that has to hop fences.
Jeez Louise.
It's just an old version of Flappy Bird.
Yeah, exactly.
This week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode.
Well, thanks for tuning in. This is America's Diesel Podcast coming at you from Spokane, Washington. Currently, we've covered the topics of coffee mugs, Excel, and racist games on TI-83s. Appreciate you tuning in. You can find our podcast on Google Play, SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, anywhere there's a podcast. You can find us on there by searching America's Diesel Podcast. You can also catch us on social medias, especially the Instagram. We do go live on there just about every Wednesday right around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come have a beer, hang out, let us know what you got going on this weekend. We also have our Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, just search America's Diesel Podcast -the group. We have a lot of good discussions on there, a lot of good memes, a lot of good shit talking. But the one thing that helps us out greatly is not only downloads, but reviews.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep those reviews coming in.
Tyler's had a bit of a week, if you can't say. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Keep those reviews coming in. Leave a 5-star review on any of the platforms that Ben mentioned earlier. Screenshot that, send it to podcast@dieselpowerproducts.com. Make sure you include a picture of your truck and an address that we can send a sticker to. It looks just like the logo on our hats, our backdrop, and our cups.
Bam. If you need parts for your diesel pickup, make sure and check out dieselpowerproducts.com. We got lots of stuff, and you need it, so give us your money so we can keep doing cool shit like this.
Yeah.
If you are a podcast listener, which you are if you're listening to this podcast, make sure and in the notes section of your order, write podcast or let your sales guy know that you are a podcast listener. Receive absolutely nothing except special attention from me should something arise from your order, but it also helps us keep tally that we're not down here just drinking beer and farting around, but we're down here drinking beer, farting around, and people are spending money because of us, or at least we're helping them separate them from their hard-earned money and giving them a good product in return. If you are not purchasing products from us, but you don't need to pick up, but you're listening to this podcast, which is really weird. Like, why would you? I would like to know, good, bad, happy, or sad. It helps us become the best diesel retailer in the freaking galaxy.
Yep.
Facts.
Did you seriously only take 7 pictures?
I probably took like, I don't know, 25
Okay.
at most. One of like 7 of them were of one truck.
Okay.
6 of them were another truck. So I went to Sema last week. I had the honor, I guess you could say. I don't know. Sema's if you've never been to Sema, I'm going to try and describe it for you. Everybody that you know that likes cars is always like, God, I want to go to Sema. Like, dude, let me know how it goes, man. And don't get me wrong, like I am super happy to go. I always enjoy going. This is my second time going, but
It's probably one of the best car shows. Like if you just
yeah.
Obviously for us it's different than just a car show because we have manufacturers there that usually will release new parts that we can then in turn sell on the site. But I don't even know if you can go there just as a spectator. Can't you? You have to be a retailer. You have to be associated with some sort of business.
Yeah, you have to have some sort of credentials. Whether you buy parts or something, that you can't just be like, hey, can I have a ticket for Sema, please?
Yeah.
Like, no.
It is one hell of a car show.
It's a trade show.
It's a trade show, but it is one hell of a car show.
Yeah. So think about if you were to just try to walk into like a construction trade show and you have nothing to do with construction. They're probably like, it's not worth our time having you in here.
Yeah.
It's that, but it is. There's a lot of car show stuff going on, and also there's also what they have going on outside the convention center, which you do not have to pay for or have a ticket to get into. Yeah. And there's a lot of cool stuff that happens out. That's where all the burnouts happen, and there's still car shows happening and all kinds of stuff. But if you want to the inside, it's basically the most overwhelming and overstimulating thing ever, especially as a car guy, because there's something there for everybody, whether you're into trucks, new cars, old cars, big tires, small tires, period correct, resto mods, all of it. There's literally a car for every person in there, and they're all done to the nines, and they all deserve your attention.
Some of them are, yes. They all deserve attention, and the only problem is,
when we go there, I'm not saying nobody else does this when they go there, but like it's work. We're there to do a job, because that's usually the best time for us to meet and talk to a lot of other people in the industry that we're doing business with. So when I say that we were literally basically working from the minute our eyes opened to the minute they closed, I'm not fucking kidding. Like we had a breakfast date with Fleece Performance at 7 a.m. And then we had that later that night, we started we had dinner with BD at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And I know 7 to 8, that's only 13 hours, right? I get that. But like, that's also going to the trade show the entire time and talking to people, walking around. And then it's a lot. You forget to eat. You drink nothing but coffee. I haven't had heartburn in a long time. Had a crazy heartburn time. I'm like, it's basically fueled by coffee, a little bit of water, granola bars, one good meal a day, and about 6 to 10 old fashions.
Yeah.
And that's basically how my diet was there daily. So, but I highly recommend, if you ever get to go. Try and go for the whole thing. It is super overstimulating, but we were only there. We got there on a Monday night and we left on Thursday morning. So we were actually only at the show for 2 days solid. But again, it was packed. It was me, Cooper, and Josh. Brian was supposed to go, but he couldn't go to the last minute. He got sick. And it was a good time. But that's enough about like what we did there. Oh wait, I do have one thing though. I want to put it out there.
Go for it.
So we did have meetings with a lot of the manufacturers that we sell. And all of my 7.3 bros, okay, I want you guys to know that, one, I always ask anybody that makes 7.3 parts if they can do more. Like, and they all give me the same look like, you motherfucker, like, this shit's been out of production. No one fucking cares.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, man, there's a lot of guys out there that are willing to spend money on 7.3s. I know. They're spending money with us. Like, why aren't, one of them that I asked, and they may or may not listen to this, I don't know, but it was BD. And I looked at him, I was like, towards the end of the meeting, I was like, hey, guys, random question, 7.3 stuff. Everybody gets the same look on their face, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, God, this guy.
I thought the meeting was over.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, any chance you could just like, and I shit you not, any chance you could just lower the price on your up pipes? Like, you've been selling them for so long. I know the tooling's probably, hopefully paid off by now. And I'm not like a production expert, but I assume they've probably at least made their money back on it. You just
You would think.
pay for materials and whatnot. But I was like, you guys make really good up pipes, but everybody else's up pipes are like at least $100 cheaper. And I'm not saying that everybody else's are the same quality as yours, but like, it's hard for me, especially like on this side of the counter, to like really support you guys because it's $150, $100 more. It's one thing if it's like $2,000 compared to $2,100, but we're talking like $450 compared to $350. It's a big change.
Right.
And he gave me this look, and I'm like, oh fuck! I just asked like the lead guy at BD to just, hey, can you make it cost less?
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna punch me in the face, but he's Canadian, so I was like, oh, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so you guys know, I do ask them all the time if anybody's gonna do any new 7.3 stuff because that's the kind of guy I am. And they all gave me the same basically blank look. If you listen to the podcast with Lenny, they want to say what Lenny basically told me during that podcast is basically just fuck off.
Yeah.
But in a professional way.
Right.
So, well, I did take some pictures. We're going to rifle through a couple of them here. Let's see right here. If you want to see these pictures, obviously check out the podcast on YouTube. And you can also comment there too. I'll respond to you there. This one was a pretty rad truck. I would consider this, the terminology, Sema Donk Donk. You may have heard us refer to trucks as Sema Donk Donk trucks. And just so you know, the size wheel to have this year for the Donk Donk trucks,
24s?
30s.
Oh, 30s.
Yes, a 30-inch wheel.
So stupid.
Wheel.
I don't know.
So fuck. First off,
There's a part of me that looks at that truck and is like, okay, yeah, that's, kind of cool. But then the other part of me is like, man, you just ruined a classic Ford truck.
I'm good from here down or from here up.
Yeah, like if that had an actual like maybe like Super Duty axles under it and some like Carly suspension, some 37s, you could do those same wheels as smaller. Like that thing would be freaking so awesome.
yeah.
I know, and I know it's a show truck thing. I get it, but last time I was at SEMA, one of the best things because it's always the Bluetooth drive shaft, folks. The best thing I ever saw was a guy that knew that he wasn't putting a drive shaft on his truck, so he literally machined a flange that bolted to his front axle, and it was just like a disc, and he had etched in the Bluetooth logo. And I was like, okay, at least you invested money into not having a drive shaft and made fun of yourself.
Yeah.
With the Bluetooth drive shaft.
He
thing.
gets it.
Yeah. To me, I don't know, man. I'll probably piss people off, but I guess that's what I just do. But if that truck is a 4-wheel drive truck and it cannot go into 4-wheel drive and be used in 4-wheel drive, like that's an incomplete build to me.
Yes.
And if you've lifted it so freaking high that like no drive shaft will work for you, like rethink your build, like or just buy a 2-wheel drive truck. I don't know. It's just it to me. Maybe I am having one of those days today, so I might be a Debbie Downer today. But it is what it is. Cool. It looks like cool suspension. Those coilovers, some long arms. Looks like a completely custom, probably chassis with a whole center section there. Can you zoom in on that a little bit?
Yeah, you should be able to zoom in a little bit. It's a somewhat okay.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, still. Yeah,
That's
man,
I don't
know. I don't know, man. I like the flatbed. I like is that what they call those? The dent side trucks.
Mm-hmm.
Love those trucks. They're great trucks. Man, it just kills me on that whole bottom half. Like,
Right.
I don't get that whole dropped subframe, super long control arms.
It's just like it reminds me of like a monster truck, like a mini monster truck, but with wheels that wouldn't work off road.
Stupid. So the thing is like, and I want to put this out there as like it's hard as car guys to like. I wouldn't say it's hard. It's really easy for car guys to just hate. Like, well, I'm into this. You did that. Stupid.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I can respect the fact that someone had enough passion and money.
Yeah.
That they wanted to make this, and they did. Like, I think if that's what they really like, I am happy for them. I think I'm excited that they're excited about it. I can see they put a lot of time, effort, and money into this.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. These are not cheap. That truck there alone, that's easily a 3-digit truck, just because of
100%.
at least what they spent on it. The part that always irks me is if you go to sell that, if someone were to post that for, I don't know, they're probably going to say like, this is a one of a kind build, cost over $180,000, so we're going to sell it for $99,000. And someone's like, everybody's gonna be like, oh, no, I'm not buying that truck. Like, that's a $40,000 truck.
Yeah, it's just a lot. At least the last time I was there, it was, this style of truck. It seems like there's a lot of these type of builds where if you really start like looking at them, it looks like they've cut corners on certain things, and just to make it have this look, which I can understand. Like, this truck probably never gets drove. Like, it probably doesn't. I mean, if it does, it's on pavement,
for pictures
and car shows and that sort of thing, which I understand. It's just, I have always been the kind of like, I will never have a vehicle, whether it be a truck, a classic car, or whatever. I would never have a vehicle that I'm not going to actually drive and enjoy.
Yeah,
because I think that is a big part of being an enthusiast, is enjoying the thing, and I get some people enjoy just looking at them and and building something like that is a show vehicle, but at the same time it's just like, it'd be cool if there was like a video, like if I was that guy and I had that truck and I built that, I would literally have a video going like with this on a stand of me actually using the truck.
Yeah, like you have to prove your cred.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of it. But I can respect it. I don't like just bashing on people's builds, because obviously it was, like you said, it's a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of patience, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know, man. I just I'm not pitching a tent in my pants over something like that.
No, not even a little bit.
Yeah.
No. And this made me think of, I want to, if I ever get a chance to actually have a booth at Sema somehow, maybe one day America's Diesel Podcast has a booth. Maybe someone.
Is this what we talked about? Yeah.
I want to have basically like an un-SEMA booth.
We were going to call it Reality Ranch.
Reality Ranch. Okay. And it's basically a section of trucks that actually are modified but get used.
Yeah.
So, there very well may be a truck that has the same amount of money into it that this one does. But guess what? It also gets used. It gets daily driven. It's on it's like its second or third set of tires.
Yeah.
And it's got like 180,000 miles on it. Just a truck that is actually really cool looking and purpose built and does what it needs to do.
Yeah. Like, and that's like what kind of comes up with like even the Whistle and Diesel guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, he builds some pretty ridiculous trucks, and he does some really dumb things to them. But at the same time, he's kind of just beating the hell out of them.
Yeah. And
you can kind of figure out like what's going to last. You know what I mean? He's like taking it to a whole other level with, like, have you seen the one where he filled the back of the Super Duty up with like freaking cement?
Yeah.
Like that. So it's kind of sad to watch the truck like just be destroyed, because you know exactly what's going to happen. But also, like, you could see, like, if you can kind of see what's going to fail.
This is what happens when you overload
this is
the
what
truck.
happens. But, like, I think a lot of, I think most of the manufacturers that we sell, like, if there was a truck there that was actually used and there was dents and scrapes on the radius arms and there was, dirt chipped off of, paint chipped off of pieces because it was actually used, there's some dents, there's some, I think that just gives the manufacturer more cred, showing like, hey, like, listen, you can still have a badass truck that's lifted, that looks cool, that rides nice, but guess what? You can still use it, and it holds up. Like, that to me is the cool part of it. And again, if you're, like I said, much respect to this guy, whoever built this truck. It's a nice truck. It's just not something that I would ever try to buy or,
Like, I would love to see a
garage.
truck like Long John Silver and something like that. Like,
Yeah.
it's a truck that's got toolboxes on it. They were custom made. It's got badass suspension. It's got, nice wheels and tires on it. And guess what? The tires are worn out because the truck gets fucking beat on.
Yeah.
And it's got, big bad shocks on it. And the only problem is, and I get the whole allure here, you put that truck next to this truck, sandwiched between another truck on 30s, and it may stick out like a sore thumb, but you got it. Like, people are drawn to these big things, whether they're good, bad, happy, or sad. But it would be interesting to have that, Long John Silver there and almost like set a camera up on a time lapse and watch like the people that actually see all the other trucks, but then stop at Long John and stay there for like, I don't know, 2 minutes and actually look at things and keep moving on. Like, real truck guy.
Yeah.
Real truck guy. Real truck guy. Real truck guy. Like,
Yeah.
they would see that and be like, holy shit, like that's a truck that's being used.
Yeah.
But yeah, Reality Ranch is what I would want to. I would love to do that. Like, especially if we could be out by like the DDC guys. The DDC guys were in this parking lot, like where I'm standing. If I just like turned left, you'd see their booth.
Yeah.
But they had some cool work trucks which I managed to take no pictures of because as soon as I walked up to the booth, Ryan handed me a beer.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, and I was like, those are my dudes. But as far as like the cool stuff at SEMA that came out for diesel trucks, there really wasn't a whole lot. Oh, before you go any further on this one, this
Actually,
this one's for Tyler. The
well, what's funny about that truck?
huh?
What's funny about that truck is there
What's
is
funny?
a truck when I was there. You can just keep talking. I'm gonna
Okay.
find this picture.
So man, I totally forgot my train of thought here. Oh, the new stuff. As far as like the 3/4 and 1 ton stuff, I honestly didn't see a ton of like brain melting stuff. The one thing that I did see that is pretty cool, and I hate to say that it's pretty cool because we just talked a whole bunch of shit about them for a couple episodes here, is the 3-liter Duramax, the grocery getter of all grocery getters. There are some really cool parts coming out for that truck. Yes, I did call it a grocery getter, and yes, we have referred to it as a grocery getter multiple times. If that makes you sad, don't care. And is that it?
So this is built by Icon, and this had a 12-valve Cummins in it.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh showed me that truck, and I thought this was the same truck,
Oh,
but it apparently is not.
do you know what 12 was in it?
I don't think I got an engine picture of it.
Yeah, this particular one was a VE truck.
I think this one was a VE too. I
Okay.
can't remember. It was a 12-valve though. But this is like, it looks like a stock truck,
Mhm.
but it was like kind of resto modded a little bit, like updated interior and of course the engine and whatnot. But anyways,
Yeah, so
continue.
I think the coolest thing that's coming out for the grocery getters is going to be PPE does have a drop-in water-to-air intercooler that they basically redesigned that they are claiming takes it from 20, I think it was like 24 to 36 miles a gallon. It might be 26 to 34. I can't remember. It's a big jump for just one part that doesn't require any additional tuning. And there should be a picture in there of it if you keep scrolling. The coolest thing that they did, in my opinion, is the fact that they redesigned the bracket that it sits on top of the engine to utilize more area. I sent you 2 batches of pictures. Corey's working through right now. Scroll up. There it is. So this picture right here is of the the PPE water air intercooler. Go to the next picture, where you can see the stock one next to it. It's hard to tell exactly because I didn't get them both in the picture because I'm a dummy, but you can kind of tell, like, oh my gosh, this stock one is tiny. And when you look at the bracket that's used to hold it, then look at the bracket for the PPE one. And they basically took out anything that would interfere with them having a larger water to air cooler and just redesigned the bracket so it fits on top of the engine. So it's just, you're going to have a whole bunch more usable horsepower and for your grocery getter. That way you can really tip over your gallons of milk in the back seat.
And these are live on our website currently. So you can buy one.
Yeah. Look at how thick, just in every dimension, how much bigger it is.
Oh yeah, it's way bigger.
Yeah, and they did a great job. Their booth was actually pretty awesome. They have
PPE, we don't talk about them a lot, but they build really nice stuff. They really do, and they've been in the industry for a long, long time, and they just always have built really, really high quality, nice parts. And honestly, their pricing, they're really not bad, especially their diff covers and their transmission pans and some of their other items are pretty competitively priced. And it's a badass manufacturer. I have to hand it to PPE for they even cover. I mean, they cover well, not too much Ford stuff. I noticed for PPE.
They're starting to come up with more like 6.7 stuff.
More 6.7 stuff. But,
they are going to be doing 6.0 heads now, if I recall correctly.
Well, they do have the I think the LLY Duramax heads that they released, but they're cast iron instead of aluminum, which I loaded on the site. That's a great upgrade, and people might think, well, that's a downgrade because you're going from aluminum heads to cast, but if you think about with a cast block and aluminum heads, the expansion rate is different from an aluminum to the iron, and there's that heat differential that occurs there. Whereas when you put a cast iron head, it kind of matches the the build quality of the block. So they claim it's better than having aluminum heads, and they're really competitively priced too. So check those out for you Duramax guys.
This is one of the things I saw when I first walked in. It was a booth that sells these fender flare kits. I don't know if you can see that fender flare where they basically just have a chunk missing. It made me want to gouge my eyeballs out. I was like, why? I've never seen, like, if you think tall trucks, like, mostly because Jeeps just aren't on my radar. I don't care about them. Yeah. I care more about trucks than I do Jeeps, but I've never seen so many Jeeps and so many Broncos turned into non-Jeep Bronco vehicles.
Oh, I'm sure it was a Jeep Gladiator and Ford Bronco fest.
Everywhere.
I'm sure.
Everywhere.
It was the same thing when, like, last time I went there, there was just, when was that? I think that was right before the JL started being released.
Uh-huh.
And that's all you saw. Like, it was just everywhere. Like, everybody got their hands on those things, and I would imagine it's probably the same with those. So
just all over the place. Go back to that. Was that the old the silver truck, the flatbed on it? So this one, I forgot the name of the booth that I was in, but I ended up finding the owner of the truck, and we exchanged personal phone numbers. I was like, so because we saw this truck that we're looking at. If you're on the YouTube channel, you can see what we're talking about. And we happened to scroll. Me and Josh were walking by it, and that's kind of cool. Like, me and Josh both like old trucks, and we walk up a bit closer to it, and Josh's like, "Oh, it's a Super Duty chassis." And then I walk up a little closer, and I'm like, "No, that's an OBS chassis. It's got shackles in the front." And we start looking at it more. One of the guy comes up and talks to us, and we're talking, and you can kind of tell, like, you can't really see. They've got inner fender liners on it, so you can't see the engine, and it's got basically like zoomy pipes coming out the side. Yeah. So you can't, it's hard to tell there. It's already, we're talking about it, and then I think either Josh or me mentioned, like, "Oh, so you got an OBS chassis, like a 9497 Power Stroke. What's going on with that?" He's like, "Oh, it's a 7.3 with a 5-speed." And I instantly was like, "Boner alert! What the fuck? Are you serious?" And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Like, he's like, "No." Like, "Is the engine in there?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Can you pop the hood?"
Yeah.
Like, why don't you have the hood popped? Like, do you realize how many 7.3 guys are walking around here right now that would be fucking ecstatic that there's a super clean truck with a 7.3 in it?
Looks like that pipe is already oily.
Yeah, it is. But if you see the picture we're looking at, that's why it's not popped up. And then I ended up talking to the owner. I believe, if I recall, his name was Ian. And he lives in Vancouver, Washington, so we're not far away. And he's like, I don't have the hood popped because the engine's not done. You can't really, like, tell anybody about it. I was like, I run a podcast and we're going to talk about it, so I need a picture of it. He's like, "Oh, okay." And but it's about a 700 horse truck. Has a propane kit on it.
Oh, so this was the ProTech booth then?
Yes. And he's like, this thing chirps tires, loves it. The engine's like a little, obviously not done yet. The outside had to get done before the engine did.
Yeah.
But he's like, "Yeah, I drive the shit out of this thing. I love it." And I was like, "Dude, here's my phone number.
Yeah.
I legit gave him my personal cell phone number. I was like, this is my cell. I'm sure, I'm assuming you probably don't know who I am. I'm not a big deal, but I'm also like, I'm not just some guy that wants your phone number. Like, when you need parts for this truck, please call me. Like,
Yeah.
I want to help you with this truck.
Yeah.
Like, I have a fucking erection right now.
Yeah.
This is really weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that truck was my undisputed favorite. And I got my almost favorite picture of it. Then I pulled a total boomer move, and I got my freaking finger on the bottom.
Oh, right there. Yeah.
I thought that was like the kill all picture. I got the nice angle on there, and super shiny,
Yeah.
sick truck. And then I freaking put my finger in it. God. Did it click?
Yeah.
Is it on? Yeah, that was my 100% favorite truck of the show. This one, that's Life Motorsports. They were in the Diesel Award booth. That's their 55 that has the 6-liter in it.
Okay.
I did try to meet up with Cole when we were there, but our schedules were not jiving together. And he arrived the night of the day that my last day at SEMA. He arrived that night. So
Gotcha.
it was one of the things, like, we texted a couple times. Tried to meet up, didn't work out. Not a big deal. One thing about SEMA too, if you don't have things actually locked into your schedule, trying to hit, it's basically everybody's moving and everybody's trying to target someone else that's moving.
Yeah.
So unless you actually have a time and a place to meet at a certain time in a certain place, you'll more than likely never see anybody. And if you happen to walk past them, you are both heading somewhere else and are probably already late.
Right.
So you literally get to like slap hands, say, "Hey dude, I saw you. You saw me.
Sweet.
See you never."
Yeah.
And carry on your way, and you'll probably never see him again. Like, if you have friends at SEMA, you either need to stay within arm's reach of each other or just assume you're never going to see him till the end of the day.
Yeah.
Tyler, I took this one for you, actually.
Oh, baby.
It's a full-size Jeep.
Yeah.
The interior on this thing gave me a massive chubby.
Cherokee
And
Chief.
also, as you start cycling through these pictures, it's Sasquatch.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, the branding on there's fantastic. Look at the interior on that.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's just
That's
cherry.
nice.
And I didn't get a picture of, you can't really see it, but, well, you can see the pedals. It was in the Tremec booth.
Manual.
So it is actually manual, yeah. I don't know what engine was in it, but it was a manual. And that was probably my favorite diesel vehicle of the entire
I'm sure it was,
entire show.
Actually, I don't know. I don't know what they would have put in there. A manual? I was just gonna say LS just because that's what people do, and HP tuners on the side. So
Yeah.
probably LS.
Yeah.
Those are
That
cool
was like
trucks. I had what was mine? 87.
I can't remember,
87 Wagoneer, which that's a Cherokee Chief. I
Yeah.
don't think they called them Wagoneers with that grill, but
I know them as a full-size Jeep,
yeah.
FSJ. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference. I know 2-door, 4-door,
Yeah.
J10.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
Honcho, Levi's edition.
Yeah. Those are
Twister?
cool. I actually missed because mine was a Grand Wagoneer. Yeah, I wish I kept that thing. That thing was pretty cool. That's a cool Jeep. I like them.
Yeah. Other than that, it was no Ford, no GM. Period.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they usually have like I think Ford usually has the biggest booth.
Well,
Or the
all of
biggest
them usually
floor
will
space.
have something showing concept vehicles or
Yeah.
like when I was there, they like GM had that like new truck but they had like the old style paint and old style wheels,
Mhm.
like kind of like a retro version.
Like a Scottsdale or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah. So in Ford, all of them had a booth usually. You know, did Dodge had a booth? They have
Massive.
the electric.
that. I didn't see one
Challenger.
electric anything.
Good.
Well, they
Because
played
nobody
the,
cares.
Yeah, they played the sound, but the
So gay.
I'm sure it was there somewhere tucked in the back corner, but everything else was just like fucking Hellcat this.
Hell yeah. Man, shit.
Yeah. But one of my other things is, and this may be, you're probably going to see pictures of SEMA of like all the super tall SEMA donk trucks all lined up, and it's actually part of an overpass that connects two parking lots. And it took everything I had in my power to not walk down that row of trucks with my camera going and just being like, gay, gay,
Yeah.
gay, shit, stupid, gay. Just in front of all these people, they're like, there's the sickest truck I've ever seen. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the dumbest truck I've ever seen. And it's only because there was one truck in the middle of it that I gave a pass to, and it's not because it was an OBS. It played a part, but it was not fully. But on the bottom valance, just in red sparkle letters, it said "I eat ass." Like,
okay.
Dope. You are a party people, my people.
Yeah.
But then, of course, it's sandwiched by like a dually on 30s or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's the most unusable, stupid fucking truck.
I will never get that build theme, if you will. I'll never get it.
Like, what's the, and maybe it's the practical side of Ben, but like, what's the end game? Like,
well, I think we have a different idea of diesel trucks than someone in Southern California or Florida or Texas. I hesitate with Texas a little bit because there's obviously people that use their trucks in Texas for trucks. But I think we should have a different idea of diesel trucks than what those people have, and those are their show vehicles. Like, instead of doing whatever, Ferrari, I don't know, I don't want to say Ferrari, but like, instead of something else, like they, have opted to start modifying these trucks in that way with big ass freaking wheels and big ass lifts, and it's just yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't think I ever will.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, it
just ain't for me, man.
It ain't for me.
Someday, again, I do want to do the Reality Ranch.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to support that, let me know. If anybody that has an in at SEMA or a booth or a manufacturer or a brand at SEMA that wants,
that would be like, this is the biggest slap in the face to like all those people that have those kind of trucks, like. Because they would know, like, oh, these guys are like basically making fun of us because it's like obviously these trucks are unusable.
Yeah.
So like try to take that truck to Home Depot and have someone like load things in the back of it, like.
Yeah.
Like if you got like a bunch of wood to like build a deck, and you're like trying to like lift shit in the back of the bed that's like over your head.
Yeah. Like, you'd have to have a custom loading dock just to get things in and out of that truck.
Yeah.
Which shit, with people that are that unreasonable to have that type of truck, they may very well have their own custom loading dock. They probably have their own custom driveway where they drive in and they get out and just walk on the pavement without using the steps because they can't reach them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way.
Don't get me wrong, I love monster trucks. I think monster trucks are cool as shit. But guess what?
But monster trucks also jump and do crazy shit.
Monster trucks aren't out there trying to stunt and be daily drivers. They're like, no, we're
monster trucks.
We're monster trucks.
We jump this shit. We run over buses.
We run on alcohol. And we're fucking huge.
We do crazy shit. We do flips and fucking ride on two wheels.
And I'm a shark.
Yeah, and I'm a shark, bitch. Like, yeah, I'm a freaking
megalodon.
Yeah, megalodon. I'm a freaking T-Rex, bro.
Yeah,
like,
and look at me now. I'm a dog.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Anyways, I ain't going to Home Depot on this shit.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you saw stuff at SEMA, and or I tell you what, if you guys have pictures of certain things that you want me and Tyler to comment on at SEMA that you found, shoot them to our email, and maybe we'll have a little referendum on them. You never know. But if you were at SEMA and you saw something and you want to talk about it more, or maybe you think me and Tyler are completely wrong in our assumption that these trucks are fucking stupid, let us know. If you're listening to this for the first time and you're like, wow, these diesel truck guys are sure anti-diesel truck guys, which is not the first time we've gotten that comment, because apparently we are the most we're so elitist that we're like making fun of people in our own industry. Yes, we are. Let us know, because I accept all hate. I accept praise and I accept hate and everything all in between. Just remember, if you spit that fire,
make sure you can take it.
Make sure you can take it back, my friend.
Yeah.
Because once these lips start moving,
who knows what's gonna come out?
Who knows? And
by the way, if you have a 3.0 liter Duramax, check out those PPE intercoolers we have on our site.
That'll make sure that you're getting good mileage or you're getting your groceries. Yeah, I got a lot of hate on that one. Well, that's about going to wrap this one up, guys. We greatly appreciate all of you tuning in. If this is your first episode listening, we really pissed you off. Congratulations. Don't tune back in. Or maybe tune back in and maybe we'll make you happy. Who knows? That's why we're here. You never know what you're going to get.
Nope.
See you on the next one.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.